The Chicago Cubs played it safe at the deadline. You get to hear all of my thoughts on it right after these messages. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. I'm your host, Mike Jones. Happy to be back with you guys on this lovely day. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Please be sure that you are, once again, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Now, let's just get right down to business. So, Chicago Cubs trade deadline ended Thursday at 5 o'clock. The Chicago Cubs did go ahead and add some pieces at the deadline. They did get some pitching from bullpen help, some long-term relief, but it does look like the Chicago Cubs are going to stick with what they have for the season. What does that mean? That means more Ben Brown. What else does that mean? That means more Cade Horton. What else does that mean? That means more Colin Ray. This is who we got for the rest of the season. So there are games we are going to lose. But Chicago Cubs probably no longer am I expecting Chicago Cubs to win the division. I mean, I think that goes without saying. I think that, like I said, if you're looking at Colin Ray and Ben Brown as your pieces, you can't tell me that you are trying to win the division crown with that. Colin Ray has been good this season, not great. Ben Brown has been acceptable at times, but also porous at others. So you look at this and you say to yourself, the Chicago Cubs cannot be taken serious as a serious World Series contender anymore. For what it's worth, I also don't think the Brewers are going to be in the World Series. I mean, and that's not just the hater side of me coming out saying that the Brewers probably won't be in the World Series. That's fact, and that's also not fact. I can't say fact because the World Series hasn't happened yet, but it's a pretty safe bet to say that the Milwaukee Brewers probably will not be representing the National League in the World Series this year. With that being said, the Milwaukee Brewers probably will end up winning the division this year. They're just clicking at the right time. Their hitters are clicking. Their pitching is clicking. They're winning games. They're not supposed to win. They're in games they're not supposed to be in. Kind of how the Chicago Cubs got that strong lead, strong start. The Milwaukee Brewers are clicking at the right time. Now, the Chicago Cubs do have basically 2 months now, with this being August 1st, to go ahead and try to get the piece that to try to garner what they can and grab some momentum. But however, they just, I don't know. It's one of those situations where they will try their hardest, and I do believe the Chicago Cubs will do all that they can, but I do not know. I no longer feel confident in this ball club as a ball club that can go and win you a World Series. We're going to have some struggles, y'all. I'm just forewarning you. As fun as the first half of the season has been, as many games as Chicago Cubs have won, as many games up in the standings as they are, as that first wild card spot, which is great, all fine and dandy. I do not have high expectations that the Chicago Cubs will go far into the postseason. And, that's a testament to Jed Hoyer. That's a testament to Tom Ricketts. Tom Ricketts refused to spend the money that needed to be spent in the offseason with signing Kirby Yates, with signing Alex Bregman. Therefore, your bullpen suffered. You traded for Ryan Presley and then turned around and you DFA'd him now because he could not, hold the lead and he gave up too many home runs. And then you look at, the moves that the Chicago Cubs made. They did add some pieces to the bullpen that should help older guys, veteran guys that should help the bullpen. And then they got Mike Soroka, who could potentially start a ball game for you, but also could potentially be either a spot start or a guy that comes in and helps with bullpen depth. So you look at these pieces that you have and you ask yourself, okay, the Chicago Cubs also should have Javier Assad coming up. It also has been to note that Miguel Amaya has been moved to the 60-day DL. So I don't know what that's retroactive to just yet, but his looks like his return might be a little bit halted also. So, yeah, the Chicago Cubs just have to figure it out. They got to get some pieces together. They got to do some things. It's unfortunate for them, but like I said, at the same time, this is the reality. This is where we're at with things, and we have to figure it out. Point blank period. The Chicago Cubs have to figure it out. So, it's gonna be a weird rest of the season, man. I can't lie to you guys. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I definitely thought we would go out and get at least one starting pitcher. You know, that could, like, at least one decent starting pitcher. But you also look at what the Chicago Cubs did and the pieces that they added, and these pieces can help. These pieces definitely can help what they were doing with the team, but they just are not enough to. I don't believe they are not enough to win the division. I just don't think so. Like I said, so I mean, we heard that the Chicago Cubs were interested in Mackenzie Gore. We heard that the Chicago Cubs were interested in Eugenio Suarez. We heard that the Chicago Cubs were looking to potentially do all these different deals. And I guess Jed Hoyer felt that, you know, gutting your farm system for these deals would end up, you know, hurting the team in the long run. I don't necessarily agree with that, because you can always build back up your farm system. You can always retool and restaff your farm system. You can't hold that farm system in such a high regard that you're unwilling to make deals. And like I said, he said in his interview, the goal is to be good every year. The goal is not to have a massive up and down cycles. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know, guys. I don't know that I can defend him on this. But again, he is our vice president of operations. But he's his team president of operations. And I mean, we have to deal with what he did. He did say on the starting pitching market, he said from a starting pitching standpoint, it was a really tight market. Very few rental starters of the marquee controllable starters. None of them changed hands. We didn't acquire them, but no one else did either. We felt the asking price was something we couldn't do to the future. And so this makes me think about something, because really when you look at what Craig Counsell was asked last week ahead of the trade deadline, Bruce Levine, I think, or Taylor McGregor, one of them asked him about what the Chicago Cubs' future looked like and what they would do at the trade deadline. And Craig Counsell simply said, he's like, I expect moves to be made, but I also do not expect, you know, us to mortgage our future for rentals or for pieces that may not be here long term. Like I said, I agree with him in a certain stance, but I just think that we missed the opportunity here. I think the Chicago Cubs missed the true opportunity here. I mean, only time will tell. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. They have a lot to address in the offseason. They'll be able to look back at this trade deadline and really be honest with themselves on what they should have done as a management group, as an ownership group, and as, you know, a team. And these are things that they're going to have to look in the mirror and say, did we do enough? And I think that the answer will ring loudly, no, we did not. No, we did not do enough. No, we did not add when we could have added to make sure that this team had what it needed. What Seattle traded for Eugenio Suarez was more than enough. I get that Matt Shaw has come on as of late, and I get that he's kind of being a little bit streaky, but you need sure things when you get to the postseason. You know, and you still do not have a lockdown, shutdown ace. I said it on the live show that I hate the fact that the Chicago Cubs really don't have a pitcher that's overpowering, that's just going to strike you out. You have a lot of guys that pitch to contact. That's why you have Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner up the middle, and Matt Shaw at third, Michael Busch at first. These guys play great defense, and that helps. But you need the guys that are going to prevent you from even getting home runs, because you got to face. You got to look at the other teams you're going to face. All of them added some form of pitching, starting pitching. A lot of them did, that you probably would have to face in a series. Philly, Padres, all of them added something or someone. So when you look at that, you look at what the Chicago Cubs did not do, and you say to yourself, damn, we really missed the opportunity here. The Chicago Cubs will begin a 3-game series, my birthday weekend series, 8-1, 8-2, and 8-3, going up against the Baltimore Orioles, who are 50-59 on the season, while Chicago Cubs sit 63-45. Cade Horton will pitch for the Cubs on Friday, and then you look at Saturday's game. Saturday will be Ben Brown. Sunday's game will be Shota Imanaga. So those are the games that the Chicago Cubs will have this weekend. Then after that, you have the newly revamped Cincinnati Reds coming to town, who are looking to make some noise. And then after that, you play the Cardinals, who traded away some pitching. Got to have some young guys out there. And then you face the Blue Jays that are 1 game ahead of you. And then after that, you face the Pirates. And then you have the series of all series, is pretty much that might decide the season. The Brewers for a 4-game set. The Brewers for a 5-game set to play a doubleheader, and then you play the regular 3. Then you got the Angels that aren't terrible. Then you got the Giants that are trying to be better. And then you got the Rockies after that. So the month of August is full of opportunity for the Chicago Cubs to reclaim first place in the division and win the division and hopefully win a first-round bye. It just really depends on what they do. They have a 1-game lead. So it's not over with yet. The dream isn't over with yet, but we will just have to see what they do and how these players perform. And it's going to be on the players to perform, guys. Make no mistake about it. I'm not hopeful, but we'll just have to see. But that's my time for today. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys for tuning in to the episode. Thank you so much. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.